Hey, this is your boy Reggie Gant, the founder of Serve4Men. And I just wanted to talk a little bit from the heart about why I founded, why the organization Serve4Men even exists in the first place. I want to talk a little bit about, what's our purpose, what's our mission, why we are here, why we do what we do. And I'll backtrack it. I'll take you back to 2009. That was the year that I vividly remember. I woke up from a dream, and I remember in that dream that the Lord spoke the word to me, serve. And then in another dream, separate and apart from that one, God told me, he whispered into my ear that I would be a leader of leaders and that I would be a leader of men. And I heard both of these somewhere around 2009-ish. And if I could be transparent, and open and vulnerable and honest, around 2009, I was not leading anybody. I was barely able to even lead myself. Around that time of my life, I had found myself fresh out of another failed relationship. So the self-esteem had took a hit, confidence had took a hit. Life just wasn't going the way that I planned. The things that I wanted, they seemed to have been eluding me every which way. And to hear somebody, even if it was the Lord talking about, Reggie, hey, one day you're going to be a leader of leaders, a leader of men, it wasn't something that I thought to be true. It wasn't something that I saw for myself. And that was 2009. Fast forward, meet my wife. We met in 2013. We got engaged in 2014. We got married in 2015. And in 2015, that's when life began to change for me. I'm now a husband. My wife and I, when we got married, for those who may not know, we were already a family of four. We each brought a child into the equation. I brought our oldest daughter into the equation. My wife brought our oldest son into the equation. Now we have 5 children collectively. We're a family of 7. But at that time, it was me, my wife, and our oldest son. Mind you, not my biological son, but he's now my son because we don't use the word step. We don't step anything. So now I'm raising another man's son, and he was in the picture. And let's just say that blended families go through challenges that other families may not necessarily have to endure. So during that time frame, I found myself in need of support, encouragement, accountability, not just as a father, but also as a husband. These were new roles. Now raising another man's son was new for me. Being a husband was new for me, and I found myself struggling. Hence, that's why Serve4Men was created. I established Serve4Men in somewhere around 2015-ish, right around the time when I got married, and I started it in my home. And it started because I felt that if I was struggling as a man, as a father, as a husband, then surely there were other men, fathers, and husbands probably in the same exact boat. So we started as a safe space. And I first started our in-person gatherings in my own home. And I would invite family members and friends, all males, all men, all fathers, all husbands. And then that grew. And eventually that grew until, we were partnering with nonprofit organizations here in the greater Baltimore area. And we were creating safe spaces. And then that grew into something that's virtual. COVID hit us in 2020. So the in-person gatherings kind of, took a back seat. But now the virtual gatherings started to increase. And that's how Serve4Men started. It started with a premise that, if I was struggling as a man, as a father, as a husband, then surely that meant that other men, fathers and husbands, were struggling as well. So our mission is very simple, and that's to equip and empower men for leadership and for legacy. I can see a world, our organization, Serve4Men, sees a world where all men, all fathers, all husbands are standing up, stepping into their leadership roles as the protectors of their homes, their families, their communities, their nations. I can see a world where men are standing up for what is right, where men are shutting down what is wrong because they are standing up for what is right. I can see that world. Do we live in that world currently? No. That is why Serve4Men exists. That is why Serve4Men is needed. And as of late, we've been focused on two very specific areas of need. Through our research, through our data gathering and analysis, we've identified two very specific niche markets in which our services, our support, our coaching, our training, our workshops, our resources are really needed. And number one, we deal with those high school and college age males, right? Those that are in high school on their way to college, those that are in college. What we found to be true is that many of those males, they lack clarity. They lack confidence. They lack a network. They lack support. They have the career centers. They have these centers. They have these initiatives. But they still need more. They need purpose. So we have a Serve4Men framework that we've created where we teach manhood. We talk about identity. We talk about purpose. What we're doing is we are establishing these young men to be men. The total male. The school is going to take care of the academic side. We are talking about the total male. So our first niche market is dealing with those high school age men, those college age young men. And we come along and provide them with every single thing that they need so that they can step up and stand into manhood, authentic, true, genuine manhood. But then we've also noticed another demographic, one that is very sensitive. And that's the returning citizen. That's the justice impacted. That's the justice involved male. These are the men that deserve a second chance, and they've been granted the opportunity. Because you and I know society is not so friendly to those of us who mess up. And once an individual is granted a second chance, they need different resources. They need different support. And Serve4Men now comes alongside those individuals with training, with coaching, with mentorship, with workshops, with programming. Because now what we want to do is teach these men how to lead the right way this time around, but we also want to solidify their legacy. Because now here it is, they've been granted another opportunity at life again. And most of these men don't want to fumble that ball again. So Serve4Men is here for males. It's a male empowerment movement. It's not a male empowerment to the point where males are better, stronger, smarter, faster than females or whatever. It's a male empowerment where men need to step back into their rightful positions as the leaders, protectors, providers, and chief servants in their homes, families, communities, and nations. Before there was Eve, there was an Adam. And Adam, before Eve came along, Adam had a very specific job to do. He was to steward the garden. So that means that the very first thing that Adam was responsible for, the very first two things, was responsibility and stewardship. Here at Serve4Men, we're teaching men the importance of responsibility and stewardship. We're rewriting the narrative of what manhood used to be defined as. Manhood used to be about how can you leverage your power, your prestige, right? How can you step on somebody to get to the next level? How many women or partners can you conquer on your way to the next level? That's not manhood. You want to know what manhood is? Jesus Christ modeled what true manhood looks like. We're talking about humility. We're talking about service to others. Authentic, true, genuine manhood, men have a servant heart. They are others first. They are we-centered and not me-centered. And here at Serve4Men, we're teaching men how to be responsible, how to steward, how to lead, how to serve, how to do it God's way. And I can envision a world one day where every man is operating in his purpose, where every man is operating in his calling, when every man understands who he is because he knows whose he is. So why should you support Serve4Men? Why should you believe in Serve4Men? I want you to take a look at the landscape of manhood today. Are you satisfied with our young men, our teenagers, our babies, constantly killing each other in and out of jail? Are you okay with our middle schoolers, our high schoolers, our college males dropping out because they don't know what to do with their lives? And once they're dropping out, getting in trouble because, again, they don't know what to do with their lives. Are you okay with husbands and fathers not leading the right way because they lack identity? They are in an identity crisis. They don't know who they are. If you're okay with those things, then that means that Serve4Men is not of importance to you. But if you're not okay with those things, then that's why we do what we do at Serve4Men. Every male has a certain measure of greatness inside of him. And it is our job to help each and every male that we come across to serve himself to greatness, to help him unleash his greatness, to unleash the seeds of greatness that God has placed inside of them. So if you're listening, you're a man or a father or a husband, join our newsletter. Visit our website, www.serve4men.com. Serve4men.com. Join our newsletter. Join our virtual monthly meetup. We meet every second Saturday of each month. If you're here in the greater Baltimore area, join us in person. Reach out to me, Reginald Gant. Find me on LinkedIn. I'm not hard to find. Find me on my website. Email me. Go to my YouTube channel, my Instagram. I'm not hard to find. But I just wanted to share a little bit from the heart. Who is Serve4Men? Why we do what we do? Why what we do matters? We can envision a world where every man is walking in leadership and solidifying his legacy the right way. I want you to join us on our journey.